Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and today I want to show you 10 games that I think if you are a weeb or otaku, you will absolutely love. Now, I'm not going to go into these games far too much, so I don't want to spoil some of the story elements of it, because a lot of these games do have story elements which drive it forward. I'm just going to get straight into it, to be honest. First up, Cryar. Now, obviously, you can just tell by looking that this is a weeby, otaku-y anime sort of game. And the reason I actually like this is because it's not simple, but it's not difficult. It's a nice, cool story. It's interesting. And to me, I kind of like how the combat works. Some people do criticize this, to be fair. Okay, yeah, fine. But I actually do like the combat quite a lot. I like the character design and I like the level design. Although they do appear repetitive to an extent, I do find it quite enjoyable, and I have platinumed this. Next up is one you probably have heard of. It's Tales of Symphonia. Now, I could have quite understandably put something like Tales of Vesperia here, or Tales of Arise, but for me, I feel Tales of Symphonia is the quintessential game to play in the Tales series. I mean, just look at it. Look at its style. If you can, try and play this version of it rather than the GameCube version, although the GameCube runs, well, technically better than this. There is also a PS4 version of Tales of Symphonia as well. But the reason I say play this one is because this does have Chronicles, and although I wouldn't recommend Chronicles, some people do like Tales of Symphonia Chronicles. Again, I love the style of this. I love the art. It is the very first Tales game I played, so it does have a special place in my heart. But yeah, for anyone who is into the Tales series but hasn't played Symphonia for some reason, play it. But if you're an otaku, play it. Just play it again, even if you have played it before. Next up is a Wii U game. And although this is on the Wii U, you can get it on the Switch, I believe, and it is Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE. Now, I like this because of the style, mainly. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the art style. Story's kind of cool. It looks nice. It plays nice. You know, when you get involved with Mirages, but I won't say too much more. But it's generally a really good, fun game to play. If you can get the Switch version, probably maybe get that version rather than this one. But I think generally they're about the same price anyway. So, yeah. But it's the art style of that one that I really, really love. Now, this one is a little bit different. Although it is technically like an otaku weeby sort of game, it's Dust Diver, but it's not actually Japanese. It's based in Taiwan, in Taipei. I do believe it is developed in Taiwan as well. I think the developer is Taiwanese, but I can't be 100% sure. Either way, it's a really nice representation of Taiwan. This does also have a sequel, Dust Diver 2, which I did like. Not quite as much, but in all fairness, I platinumed Dust Diver 2. I didn't platinum this one. But I love the style of it. I love the story. I love the level designs. And it's just a really cool game to play. Look at it. Look at it. It's awesome. I do like it. Next up is one I'm going to say you have heard of. It's Ys VIII. And the Ys series has been going around for a long time. And there are a couple of entries I could have put in here. But I wanted to put Ys VIII because it's mainly the most popular of the Ys games. Because Ys X Nordics recently came out. It came out 2024. I figured, do you know what? I think people would appreciate it very, very much. Adol, as you can see, him right there, he is the main protagonist in every Ys game. Well, every one that, you know, you can kind of get your hands on. And I just love the story between these two, Dana and Adol. And it kind of, if you play, I won't go into it too much, but you'll see what I mean about the split. It is a really, really good game. It's fun to play. The combat is absolutely excellent. It's bright, it's colourful, it's gorgeous. And if you've never played an Ys game and you don't know where to begin, I recommend starting with that one because it is really, really good. Next up, we have Scarlet Nexus. And this one it was received not poorly, but probably not the best. I played it a couple of times on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and I do like it. I like the story where you can kind of split between the two characters. I think Akane's story is a bit smaller, but some of the character designs are absolutely brilliant. Like, if you just look at them right here, I love the design. It can get a little bit repetitive, but it's one of them that, you know, it's that style of game. But on first glance, it probably doesn't look quite as anime, weeby, otaku-y, nerdy, but it is, trust me. It's good fun. Next is one I feel is severely underrated, like really, really underrated, and people do need to play more, and that is Tokyo Xanadu. You can get this on a couple of different platforms. I believe you can get it on Switch now as well. But this comes from the same people, technically, as Ys VIII, as well as what is coming up shortly in this video. But Tokyo Xanadu is... But basically, if you played Cold Steel, Trails, any of the Trails games, then you'll know what this is. Falcom have this weird ability to tell a cool story, making the game look absolutely gorgeous, making the characters really relatable and I'll fall in love with because they're just amazing characters. But Tokyo Xanadu is kind of set in a somewhat kind of realistic-y, futuristic-y, bizarre world. I can't really go into too much more than that. I almost platinumed this. I almost did it. I think there was just two trophies I just could not do. Like one of the really, really difficult playthroughs. I just could not do it. But I absolutely love Tokyo Xanadu, and I'm very much looking forward to the sequel that is apparently coming very soon. But yeah, if you're trying to get that in the EU, by the way, that's very expensive. That's the American version, so I think it is a bit cheaper. Still on the topic of Tokyo Xanadu, and I said it's made by technically the same people as Ys VIII, we have Trails of Cold Steel, and I mentioned this previously. Now, it's hard to say where to begin with the Trails series because it is huge. You know, technically you should begin with Trails in the Sky. That's getting a re-release pretty soon, so maybe you should actually begin with that. But I feel that Cold Steel is a good starting point, or Trails from Zero might be a good starting point as well, or, you know, so even Daybreak. But for me, this was my first Trails game, and just look at its style. What I love about this is, although it looks like your stereotypical anime cliche story that's going to happen, it isn't. And I can't go into it too much, but soon into this game, if you haven't played it, you'll realise that, hang on, it's not following the stereotypes of a traditional anime story. And that's why I like it. And obviously then you've got Cold Steel 2, Cold Steel 3, Cold Steel 4, and then you've got the rest. And honestly, if you're going to start the Trail series, I know it's daunting, but start with Cold Steel. I absolutely adore that game. Next one is a bit of a weird one, and you may be criticised for playing it. It's Galgun. And if you've never heard of Galgun, there's a couple of games of these. I don't think the first one is actually available in the West. I think it's only on the Japanese PS3. It's basically a game where you play as a guy in school and you get to shoot love stuff at girls and they suddenly lose all their clothes. Right, I'm not going to go into it too much more. It's a little bit perverted, but it's funny. It's just an enjoyable anime, otaku-y, weeby sort of game that's, you know, it'll pass a good couple of hours. It's good fun, that's all I can say. And the last one we're going to take a look at is Blue Reflection. This one, I feel, is so heartwarming, I think, to say the least. The story, if you've got time to invest in it, is really, really good. And I love the art style. Once again, this front cover is what sold me. It absolutely sold me. And I'm not going to tell you who they are, because it's not, they aren't what you think or whatever. It's a good game. Look at it. Look at the art. Look at the style. I am a sucker for kind of this style of game, you know, with combat that you can enter in and out, in and out, in and out. So if you have the time, play Blue Reflection. Blue Reflection. I can't even say my words properly. I think it is hard to get hold of physically, and it might be a little bit expensive. In fact, it might be expensive digitally as well. But if you can ever play it, do give it a go, because it's absolutely worth it. So there are 10 games which I think if you are a weeb or a otaku, you will absolutely love. I do have an honourable mention because the last game we had there, Blue Reflection, is made by Gust. Gust are also very popular with another series, and that is the Atelier series. And honestly, there are so many to choose from in that series, but the one I've gone with, which I don't think, if you don't play Atelier, you shouldn't go straight into this one, but it is Atelier Sophie 2, simply because that is my favourite Atelier game. But all the Atelier games, I love the art style and the mechanics of the alchemy. Less so in Atelier Riser. I would say the Mysterious quadrilogy is the best for alchemy if you're into that. But if you love the style, you want a relaxing story, just try an Atelier game. So yeah, if you're a otaku weeb, there you go. Have your fill, enjoy, and hopefully, guys, well, hopefully, I really do hope so. I hope I've not put you off with this weeby stuff. I will see you in the next one.